Attention. Here we embark on a colorful exploration of mental health conversations.
Expect deep discussions, humor, sarcasm, and a bit of cussing because, hey, that's just how we roll.
Let's just set the record straight. The views expressed here are our own and might not represent the entire podcast beliefs or our guests.
Our aim? To enlighten through humor. But hey, take it easy. Don't sweat the small stuff.
Legal issues? No, thank you. We prefer to keep this space lawsuit free.
So gear up, enjoy yourselves, and join us in navigating the colorful world of mental health on the Different Spectrums podcast.
Bye.
Thank you.
Hey, everybody. We back again.
We back. Hello.
I'm Spencer. Of course, we have our licensed clinical therapist, Naz.
Preacher. Dr. Naz.
There you go. He's Father Naz today.
Today.
Praying for all of us. Praying.
All you sinners out there.
Sinners, all of it. Watch back.
This podcast, praying right now.
We're praying. All right. This is the Different Spectrums podcast where we talk about movies, shows, and the mental health aspects that surround them. We also like to have some laughs, so don't take us too seriously.
Or do. That's up to you.
There you go. Also, don't forget to run up those likes for us. We'd really appreciate it. So, today, we have a special guest. They are a professional educator and also an ADHD advocate. Please welcome to the show, Kate Kamoshida. Welcome.
Kate Kamoshida, yes.
Nice. Didn't expect I could get right, did you? There you go. I know things. Things. So, today's going to be one of those pods. We got somebody who is ADHD, and so it's just going to be one of those pods today. You know what I'm saying? That's how it goes. We've had plenty of people who have ADHD, and we've had them on the show. So let's do it. Yes. Today, we're going to be going through Wayne's World. Yes.
Excellent.
Classic. We're going to be talking about a host of topics. We're going to be talking about gun racks. We're going to be talking about gun racks. We're going to be talking about jelly donuts. We're going to talk about it all. And that's what we're going to be doing today. Naz, anything before we get into the show?
I apologize. We are going to do our best. We're going to do our best to synthesize the demons.
You got big teeth.
Big old buck teeth. So we're going to do our best to have some fun on this pod and also specifically talk about ADHD. We're going to talk about some funny things with our pod when it comes to like sponsorships and then maybe pop-up ads. We will get into, kind of some awkwardness, maybe some manifesting or daydreaming about relationships. We're going to do a pivot and we're going to talk about for sure some ADHD or just fabricating like horrible scenarios and with the end scene and then kind of making them better and how that helps with a lot of mental health. As I had a client the other day, I'm like, hey, have you thought about any of the good shit that could happen? Well, no. So maybe we need to start pivoting and thinking about maybe some of the good alternatives. I'm not telling you to not think negative, but maybe there's some positive outcomes that could happen. I think we're going to do that and we're going to try to get to as much content as we can and have some laughs. So bear with us. We're all ADHD as hell. So this should be interesting as it always is when we have ADHD guests on today. So yeah, let's strap in.
I'm like super struggling not to interrupt all of this.
You're good. You're completely fine. I figured you're doing good. Hold it in.
Hold the line. Almost there. Hold this.
Hold the line.
Hold this.
Well, yeah, let's get into it. Whoop, whoop.
Whoop, whoop.
That works.
That works. Hey everyone, I'm here to talk about our new collaborator, Toink Toys. They have a wide selection of, you guessed it, toys and other great collectibles. They have products from Marvel, Star Wars, Harry Potter, and everything pop culture. You could say they put the toy in Toink. So go check them out at toink.com and use our code Different Spectrums Podcast to get 10% off your entire order today.
Wayne, listen, we need to have a talk about Vanderhoff.
The fact is, he's the sponsor. And you signed a contract guaranteeing him certain concessions, one of them being a spot on the show.
Well, that's where I see things just a little differently. Contract or no, I will not bow to any sponsor.
I'm sorry you feel that way, but basically it's the nature of the beast.
Maybe I'm wrong on this one, but for me, the beast doesn't include selling out. Garth, you know what I'm talking about, right?
It's like people only do things because they get paid. And that's just really sad.
I can't talk about it anymore. It's giving me a headache.
Here, take 2 of these.
Ah, new print. Little, yellow, different.
Look, you can stay here in the big leagues and play by the rules, or you can go back to the farm club in Aurora. It's your choice.
Yes, and it's the choice of a new generation. Oh, what do you think you're doing? Only me and Garth get to talk to the camera. Come on.
I don't really have too much to say right now. What's that?
Hi, Mr. Withers. How's the amusement park going?
Just great, Wayne.
4 coffees and a half dozen crullers, please.
And 1 jelly donut.
Hey, there's your girlfriend, Garth. Yeah.
Excuse me. I fell.
Don't you guys ever get tired of ordering the same thing?
No.
Uh-oh. Don't look. Stacy.
Where? Oh, God, I made eye contact. Psycho hose beast.
Happy anniversary, Wayne.
Stacy, we broke up 2 months ago.
Well, that doesn't mean we can't still go out.
Well, it does, actually. That's what breaking up is.
Will, are you gonna go to the gasworks tonight?
No. No!
Don't you want to open your present?
If it's a severed head, I'm going to be very upset.
Open it.
Okay. Okay. What is it?
It's a gun rack.
A gun rack? A gun rack. Yeah, right. I don't even own a gun, let alone many guns that would necessitate an entire rack. What am I gonna do with a gun rack?
You don't like it? Fine. You know, Wayne, if you're not careful, you're gonna lose me.
I lost you 2 months ago. Are you mental? We broke up. Get the net.
Wrong time. I'm sorry.
You screwed my career!
I always knew you were small time.
Wayne, I'm pregnant. That's why I've been so moody.
Fire! Let's get out of here!
Why, God?
Last night was the most incredible night of my life.
You were terrific.
You didn't really think she'd end up with Wayne, did you? As if.
As if we'd end the movie like that. Yeah.
Let's do the Scooby-Doo ending.
Good call.
Hi, Frankie Sharp, Sharp Records. I just saw your performance in my limo.
Wow, we got through. Well, that wraps it up. But there's one last thing. Let's just see who you really are, mister. Why, it's Old Man Withers, the guy who runs the haunted amusement park.
And I would have got away with it, too, if it hadn't been for you snooping kids.
Good one, Shaggy. Excellent Scooby-Doo ending.
Yeah, but I think we should do the mega happy ending.
Oh, the mega happy ending. That's doable.
Hi, I'm Frankie Sharp, Sharp Records. I saw your performance in my limo. I must tell you, it was terrific. Yeah. In fact, I think it's so good, I'm going to give you a 6-album deal starting tomorrow. See you in my office.
I love you, Wayne.
I love you, Cassandra.
I love you, God.
I love you, dream woman.
You know, ever since I did your show, kids are looking at me in a whole new way. I love you, man.
And I love you. Because I've learned that platonic love can exist between two grown men.
And I've learned something too. I've learned that a flawless profile, perfect body, the right clothes, and a great car can get you far in America. Almost to the top. But it can't get you everything.
Isn't it great that we're all better people? Fishy!
Hey everyone, I wanted to give a special shout out to our collaborator, Two Nerds Candle Company. Not only do they have great products, but they are also giving back to a great cause. You can tell that they take a lot of pride in making their candles. My favorite is Spock's Monday Coffee. They are also donating 10% annually to support Women in STEM, which stands for Science, Technology, Engineering, and Mathematics. You can use our code DSP or go to our link tree to get 20% off your entire order. We think that this company is great, and we think you will too. So go check them out. All right, so we back.
Hey, we back. I almost passed out and died before this, but we're live. You know, whereas live is and rich and thick as Great Poupon.
Ugh.
You love the thick moistness.
Ugh, God. Ever since you put on that collar, you've changed.
I like to slap. Hey, I'm doing my fatherly duties. Sorry for anyone who has religious trauma. I end up randomly look Kate's like, Jesus Christ.
That's right. Someone's gonna get canceled. Ain't gonna be us.
All right, let's get into it.
All right. So, like I said in the beginning, we have a guest on. Kate, could you give us a rundown of who you are and why you came onto the show?
Okay, I am Kate Kamoshita. I'm not Japanese. I am originally from... I know, but I am also, in a way, I'm a permanent resident of Japan. I've been here for 17 years, like my entire adult life I've lived in Japan. Yeah. I'm from Oakland, California, and I went to school in DC at American University, which really confuses Japanese people because they're like, "Where'd you go to college?" And I'm like, "I went to American University." Like, we know it's American. Which one?
Oh,
like,
I didn't even catch that.
The American, the one. And then I studied abroad before, like in high school. I went to Italy. I did a semester in South Africa. I did a semester in Prague, and I worked in the study abroad department. And then the guy was like, "Hey, you should do the JIT program." And like that person literally could have said anything. "Hey, you should go teach in Haiti. You should go to art." Like he could have said any country. He just had, that's why everyone's like, "Why'd you end up in Japan?" I'm like, this one guy said, And then that plus the 2008 financial crisis,
Yeah. Thank you,
where I
Obama.
couldn't get a job in America. I instead married my husband. It was a green card marriage, clearly.
Hey, gotta use them for some.
Well, which never ended in a green card, but I got permanent residency. Does that count?
Yeah.
Yeah.
And I was diagnosed in Japan with ADHD at the age of 34, which is a surprise to many. Because everyone's like, wait, you were missed? Like
The
you.
biggest. Couldn't tell.
Hey,
Couldn't tell at all.
as soon as you popped out
They
the
told
womb, they're
me-
like, that baby got ADHD. That baby on crack.
If you look
that
at
baby
pictures
talking
of
already?
me, if you look at pictures of me when I'm a kid, yeah, like I never have any shoes on. I'm like all disheveled. Like apparently I wandered away from my mom once. Like
Oh.
you were here and you just left, and then the police picked me up because
Oh,
we were gardening, and apparently my feet were all covered in like mud, and they thought I was like a runaway child.
Homeless
was that like
And
last
I went-
year or?
And I was so scared I thought I was getting arrested. And they're like, where do you live? And I'm like, I live up the street. My mom's like, I just saw you. What happened?
She dipped.
So, yes. But that's why I advocate as hard as I do, because like if they didn't diagnose me, there's people who mask much better than I do.
Yeah.
I feel I was never that good. I was very smart, too smart to have ADHD, which is not a thing. It was a thing in the 80s and 90s, I
Yeah.
think. They tried to say that, but we know now that it's definitely not. And yeah, I came here and I've just always been in education. So yoga teacher, English teacher, ADHD teacher. I have 2 master's degrees. And I want a third. And my husband said no. He said, you don't need a third master. It says you.
So she bragging right now. You know, you bragging because you can read and shit. Okay, I see how it is. You know, you ain't got to hurl insults at us, Kate. Okay, I get it. You can read. Jesus,
don't be just a man in the cloth.
Master
All right.
education and youth development specialist. Those are mine too. And I got the youth development specialist. This is an important part, to help Japanese youth, because in Japan titles matter. And since I wanted to reach the kids, I was like, if I have this name, youth development specialist, because what do you guys even think that is? Like, right? Exactly. They're like, but she's a specialist. Let her have access to the kids. So that was a strategic move.
So what brings you on this pod then?
I believe you saw my Instagram account, which is at Learning Compass, which just hit 50,000 followers, by the way, like last week, which is quite exciting.
Congratulations.
There you go.
And I teach ADHD education. I'm not a coach. This is a very clear distinction I need to make. I am not a coach.
Okay.
Coaches go to coaching school and like get accredited to be a coach. Yeah. I'm just an educator. I'm good at breaking it down. My psychiatrist calls me an ADHD interpreter. So I take our ADHD stuff, our interrupting, our forgetting, all of our traits, and I can break those down in ways that we understand them better, like all the scientific terms. And then my point is, if you take one of those classes and you learn about the why, then you can communicate to those around you what's actually the problem. Like, I don't forget stuff. My working memory is bad because of blah, blah, blah. And I think once they figure out the problem, they can figure out actual solutions.
I love that.
So those are courses. They're more about just so everyone's like, it's not tricks. I just break down the actual science and the data. And I do all the, like I said, with all those master's degrees, I do all the reading so you don't have to. And I get rid of the bad studies and
the good ones.
It's a mix of academia and community.
Okay. There you go. That's good. You make things edible for people to like to ingest. I think the funniest thing of that story, Spence, they were like, you know, that person Rex said, I just go here and I just did it. So I'm just like, you know, they were like, you know, you should try this blue meth. Kate's like,
It's the pure stuff.
Hey,
It'll be fine.
this shit's made from Smurfs.
It's non-addictive.
Yeah.
I think you need to understand that people like love Japan, right? So
Look,
compared
I'm
to
trying to go there,
everybody
so.
else, they were like, I'm going to Japan. So they're like, how'd you end up here? I'm like, I don't know. I know how to say what time. Like,
I'm trying to see Gundam over there. You know what I'm saying? I'm just trying to.
Yeah, that big
I'm
one.
not a
that-
weeb. I do like Hello Kitty, but
Real quick,
and Sailor Moon.
Kate, is that big Gundam thing that
They
robot
have to,
that's
yes, I've been, yeah, I've seen it. There's two. There's actually like a multiple, but I think you're talking about there's one in Odaiba, there's one in Yokohama, there's one in Kyushu. Yeah, it's really big. I have a picture of
It's
it. You
this
want me to
big.
send it?
it's the big
Is this
one?
big?
It's the big one.
It's big. I went. I can even.
You know,
I will send you.
I've seen bigger, but you know.
That's what she said.
It was the black one.
Oh my God. Hey, you can say that as a fellow, black man.
Hey.
You know.
brother.
I'm
brother.
married to an Asian guy, and I will tell you those rumors are not true.
Oh, hey,
Ooh, all right,
you
shit.
bad boy got that pipe now. Oh
Stop, do
my.
not bring me this.
Yeah.
You did it.
Yeah, don't go in, don't
There
feed
ain't
into
no
our
cancel
shit.
culture in Japan, apparently.
Yeah.
Jesus.
Yeah.
So just cut me out. Don't worry. Just edit. Just edit.
Yeah, just edit.
Well, I'll
Joking.
try. It's kind of hard.
I married my Asian husband before BTS was cool. Okay. So
Okay. Oh, you're ahead of the curve. You set the trend. We got to get off
Setting
this.
trends for white women everywhere.
well, actually, my joke is okay. I'm actually half Russian, half German American. That's
thing.
like, and then I married a Japanese man, so our children are literally American, Japanese, German, Russians.
All the great ones.
Oh,
All
y'all
the
about to
greats.
take over.
I know.
Oh, damn.
You can do
Yeah,
it.
talk about like world peace, man. Like,
Oh, yeah, no. Fuck that. We need to build that wall we was talking about. No, hell no. I'm
and
joking.
I also
Right
people
between
don't know
Japan
is
and right there.
Japan, if you remember, they're also quite nationalistic, like that World War II part. So I also like to say I ruined both white supremacists and Japanese in one go. Nobody's happy.
What just happened?
Hey, real quick, I want to pivot because I want to ask something, then we'll get into the show. There's this thing that happens in the spring with all the flowers. Have you seen that? I'm sure you've seen that.
The cherry blossoms.
That's super, like, is it as magical as it looks on like fucking YouTube?
Actually, I would say it is. But fall right now is even better. The fall foliage is amazing. The ginkgo trees are all golden. Like those, if you look up like golden tunnels of like Japan.
I love a good golden shower. Sorry.
But yes, Japan will tell you they have 4 seasons. Right? This is a big thing. And like a lot of people don't understand because they're like, yeah, cool. Because they're like, we have 4 seasons. Like nobody's ever heard of this before.
What are the 4 seasons?
The 4 seasons, yes, summer, fall,
Regular
winter.
ones.
Yeah, but the difference, what they mean though, is that they really lean into the seasonality of it. So it's like the cherry blossoms really are the spring, and like all the gardens are so meticulously laid out to have each season in place. You can't buy fruit out of season, it's some things only come around in the fall.
Yeah,
so
I love a good fruit.
It's expensive here. It is.
I love them because I used to be one.
Oh my God. I'm sorry, Kate. We're throwing a lot of ADHD stuff at you, and you're handling it so well. I love you right now.
You're handling it very well.
This is my normal Tuesday.
You're doing it so well. I just wanted to bring up that I've actually had some clients that were in Japan, that were going through some stuff, and we met on BetterHelp, and it was wonderful. We ended up figuring out, it's ADHD, but it's also like autism and stuff. And so I got to work with them for a while, and we got to talk about some of the cool things, the culture, some of the issues with like getting therapy and like medication over there. So we've talked about a lot of different things. But
yeah,
in
that is actually
Go ahead.
That's why I did what I did. That's why I started, because when I saw these like
There's an
Katie
issue.
Asor or these big other creators doing ADHD education, I was like, wait, that's a thing? You know, it's ADHD. I'm like, wait, that's a thing? I can do that thing.
Yep.
And then I did the thing. But it was also because I was diagnosed here, which is
Yep.
surprising. Like I said, all those nobody in America noticed, but like finally somebody gave me the answer.
We got one.
And a lot of people don't know the process. Like very few doctors even can diagnose adult ADHD. There's a lot of restrictions, a lot of medication. Like you said, there's therapy. So I created the English because everyone's like, why don't you do it in Japanese, or why don't you do this to your Japanese audience? Why are you doing it in English? And it's because I want to do it for English speakers who are in Japan, or English people who speak, foreigners who want to come to Japan, who need this access, because it took me a long time to find a psychiatrist, to figure out the medication.
That's what they told me.
Figure out how to do it under the insurance. My therapist also came via BetterHelp, because the only other therapist is like my friend, who's like the therapist to everybody. And I'm like, I wish you could be my therapist. She's like, yeah, that's not ethical.
You know, no, she's like, you crazy as hell.
She's great.
You just need to stop.
Yeah.
Stop.
Have you tried doing a journal?
That is why I feel and people are working on translating some of my stuff.
Okay.
To
Awesome.
reach wider, but Japan has a lot of rules.
You don't
if you've
say.
heard. Yeah. But if you are ADHD or autistic and there's a lot of rules, in some ways it's easy, because you just do what they tell you. Like, you know, if you tell us exactly what to do, we will do it. Not always we like it, right? It's not always going to be easy, but it's kind of easy to understand. You're like, no, everybody's doing this one thing.
A little to the left.
But that's also when you're a bit different and you're forced to do this very boring, same old thing.
So,
it doesn't work.
You're right. And so we'll end with this, and then we'll start with Spence, get into some of the scenes and just what the hell we're doing today. Is that, you know, some of the studies show that Korea and Japan have some of the highest rates of autism, diagnosed autism, because it's supposedly they got better like research on it. Now, you would assume that China would be up there too, but their statistics are very terrible.
I would also question that, because HSP, you know, the highly sensitive person, is still widely used.
Oh, there.
And I think this higher rate of diagnosed autistics would be like, because the creator of Pokemon is autistic, right? He's like the autistic spokesman of Japan.
I believe it.
And it's because he liked bugs as a kid. That's the story. He was special
Autism 101.
Yeah, it was special interest with bugs and actually collecting bugs. But you think like being in the otaku in Japan, having special interest is like, it's also just like, I would say that there might be, but I would say diagnosed is questionable to me, because I think there is a lot of undiagnosed neurodiversity.
Oh, I guarantee there is, but also some of the stats show that it still reports really high as diagnosed, and it's like, holy shit. Because the numbers always changing.
Yeah, I want to check it, because if it is, it's very hush hush too. Like nobody'd be open about it.
Yeah.
And I know all the undiagnosed is because it's like the HSP label, like, because when I search on Instagram accounts or for people, like it's HSP, and I'm like, that's not a thing.
I never heard of it until the internet. I've never heard of HSP until everyone says it, like highly sensitive people. I was like, who the fuck is that?
Well, it's funny because we are highly sensitive people. It's not a lie.
Yeah, it's true.
But,
I just didn't know it was a thing.
It's not its own thing. No. And the woman who wrote the book, I have the book actually.
Oh, wait a minute.
I put it in the bad book pile.
We're going off the rails.
I have a good book pile.
Wait a minute now. It's all good. You only have to get the book.
Yeah.
It's all good.
Hey, real quick.
She wrote the book. The people she wrote about, they both turned out to be autistic in the end anyway.
There you go.
So, and we are highly sensitive. But I said, in this country, to be otaku, to be obsessed with one thing, to get really into that one thing, that's part of the culture, right? Like I love Sanrio. You can also like love it. Your Pokemon, any of that
Yep.
childish stuff doesn't matter. You can collect it all the way through. So I'd say it just blends.
Yeah.
Especially if you like order and rules. If you're that autistic.
We got it. All right, let's do the pivot. Real quick.
Cheers.
Don't say anything, Kate, because I know you're gonna want to after I said this. I'm interested what's in that
We're gonna
bad
do
book
it.
pile. She got them bad
Couldn't do
books.
it.
Hey, what you got in them bad books? It's all just English. So don't say anything.
You read left to right.
Yeah. It's the manga. I don't read it, but it's there.
I read right to left, motherfucker.
This book called scriptures. It's just anime.
Backwards.
All right, let's pivot
All
into
right.
the show.
Yes. All right. Wayne's World. How do you describe it? How do you describe it? I describe it as no. Wait a minute. Hold on. Now, let me do it.
Let me go.
do it. All right. You ever seen two white men try to take over the world? Wayne's World.
It's about white supremacy?
It's about the real world. What the fuck is it called? Real world.
Hey, it's about two white guys that's probably high.
Probably.
Yeah. And the relationship is so
never.
close. It reminds me and me and Colin, best friend. And then my mom be like, "Y'all gay, ain't you?" I'm like, "We're just best friends. You too close."
Look, we cuddled once. What?
Hey, well, it was a few times. But I love the friendship. I just want to say that now. The friendship is magnificent.
It's a
And it's
great
Mike
friendship.
Mike Myers.
Right? Wayne's World. It's all about these two guys who have a show in their basement. It's a local show. And then all of a sudden, yeah, I know, right? Yeah, speak to it, right? And then all of a sudden, they get the opportunity of a lifetime to go national. Of course, Rob Lowe, the main villain of the show, tries to, he gets them famous, but then is also like, hey, you also don't get any rights to anything, and you have to do this, right? It sucks. It's terrible.
Yeah.
It's terrible. And then you got, of course, the great Mike Myers, Dana Carvey. What can you do? And then Bohemian Rhapsody. They did everything in this movie to really. I know Kate right now is like fucking just
dying. Oh, we're almost done. We're almost done.
Almost. And so
just teasing her.
Just like, what's happening? I don't know.
Yeah.
Have you ever seen Wayne's World? No, I would never.
No.
That movie looks like it sucks. And then
This is terrible. We're just fluffing you up right
sorry,
now.
I'm a piece of shit. All right, so
Yeah.
lots of great characters. It's originally a SNL skit from Dana Carvey and Mike Myers, and then they turned it into a movie. And then it started the long list of SNL movies that were once skits, and then they turned them into full-length movies. So
Full length.
pretty great. Yeah, full length. Wide and in charge. All
Jesus.
right.
Why is this guy so sexual this part?
I know. That's why I was like, where did this?
It's the vibes.
I was like,
You just
all
go with
Kate.
the vibes.
We were literally talking about like Pee Wee Herman before this. This is all you.
Well, I mean,
Yeah, true. That was weird too.
I think it's your collar, man.
It's-
Stop.
Continue, please.
Lord. All right. So the first scene. All right. So the first thing that we did, it's all about sponsors, right? Wayne and Garth would never sell out. They would never do that. They would never, ever in their lifetime. Pepsi. Kind of reminds us of your own lovely podcast here. We don't have any type of sponsorships at all. We would never do that. That'd be terrible. Don't ever try to buy toys from Toy Toys. That'd be terrible. Don't do it.
Yeah.
Bub's Naturals? What the fuck is that? Cure hydration.
Yeah.
I like to not drink water.
20% off? Why do I want that?
20% off. Discount code? What?
Yeah.
In the link below in the description?
It's Christmas
Stupid.
time?
Christmas time. This is probably coming out after Christmas. So New Year's, look, you can buy new stuff.
Hey, we're talking about Easter gifts.
Easter. Easter.
If Christ is risen, you can buy your kid shit.
If you want a candle in your Easter basket this Easter.
Oh, yeah. We've got a lot of good candles.
Yeah, great candles. If you need candles, we got them.
Wait a minute. We're just fucking doing ads now. Let's get back to the thing.
Are we? I didn't know.
I'm still waiting for my part to come in.
Look,
We're getting there. We're getting there.
You got your time. I know you're waiting.
I think we're doing it on purpose now.
I know.
We never get to her.
God. I have 2 older brothers. I'm so used to
fuck
all.
you. Hey, I mean, if you're fresh out of prison and you like the orange jumpsuits, different spectrums hoodies.
Different spectrums. Hey, the WNBA wears them, so don't say that. That's rude. That's rude.
The women.
All right.
Yeah.
All right. All right. So
let's do the scene.
Now we pick the sexes. Wait.
Yes, we do the thing now. Like we saw in the scene, they want to do. They're like, no, we don't do sponsorships, but then it's just a huge ad for it. They did it very cleverly. They got sponsorships in such a great way.
It's the best product placement scene of any movie.
Anytime.
It sets the scale for product placement, I would say.
It was
before.
good.
Now it's everywhere in films, as you dream. So
Cars.
This was original, this whole product placement scene.
I believe it.
Yeah. I mean, one of the biggest sponsorships I ever saw was when Tony Stark always drove an Audi every time.
Okay.
Didn't drive any other car. Always drove an Audi. And you're like, what the fuck? This dude's just driving Audis. All right, cool.
In Netflix, you see it all the time in all the shows. It's just so much product.
Always
and it's
subliminal.
You might not catch it. Most folks, I feel like a lot of ADHD folks do catch it. I'm not sure if you agree with that, Kate, but like I'm watching something like Jesus Christ, emblems. Would you say that?
Shit.
Would you say that it's like a big thing now when you're watching stuff for social media that there's just a lot of product?
I think there was actually a change in the market. My husband's a marketer, and I think there was a shift in how product placement was used, because when we went to streaming and all of that, and people stopped watching all the ads because we had a lot of commercials that would get like all those celebrity endorsements, that they had to switch over to this product placement because we weren't watching as many ads. So it is more obvious than it was, because there's not as much, because now it's like YouTube, if you're not like skip the ad, why are you showing me an ad, right? So this was ahead of its time.
That makes sense. In film. So shout out real quick, our last video we shot to Pampers for sponsoring us. I'm sorry. Obviously they do not sponsor us, but hey, I do ship my pants a good amount of times. Hey, you gotta go. But I feel like we see it all the time. Kate, earlier you talked about like on ads, like on Instagram and all that stuff. What were you talking about that when it comes to ads and sponsorships and like you, right? Being on Instagram and a social media content creator?
Well, I think, it's not hard to get an ADHD person to buy something. You're like, hey, spend your money. Like it's actually a problem. Impulsive spending is a huge problem for people with ADHD. Yes. So when I get approached, because if you have an audience, they'll approach you. But if they want to, I'll always say yes to the free things. They're like, we want to send you this thing, or we want you to try this app. And I'll be like, okay. But I've only found 2 things that I like. Can I do my sponsor?
Go ahead.
Oh, no.
Yeah.
Go for it.
No rollers. I have a link. Where's my other roller? Oh, no, is great. They sent me a few fidgets.
That's the roller. That's the roller that someone stole from my office.
Yeah.
She did it. Kate fucking did it.
Kate did it.
Who stole mine? I know where they are. I took a
Thieves are stealing fidget toys. The fidget toy stealer.
She looks like me in my office yesterday trying to find that fucker.
Where is it?
Yeah.
No, I took it to the doctor. I took it to the doctor to show them, because they're actually really great. This is the best fidget I got, especially because they're super quiet. I have a link or the code learning and you save 10%. And they're amazing. So this is one of the few, but this is a product I would use. That's what I'm saying. I'm very And I felt it was like quiet. It's a great fidget. I've gotten people who don't use fidgets to do it, but like when you're going to be like, here's a new tropic or anything about, let's cure your ADHD or this is going to get you organized. I'm like, okay, what? You're going to hire somebody to live in my house full time to organize? That is it. There's no app that is going to get me organized. Okay.
No.
There is
I can tell.
And there is no nootropic that is going to be better than the prescription plan that I have cultivated with my psychiatrist over many years.
Yeah.
And so I'm very picky. And everyone's like, you have these followers, you should make something to sell to them. And I actually am. I am.
Wow.
But what I'm making
or do you not want to talk about
it? It's coming out. It's stationary. And I'm making a sticker book. I'm making adult sticker books.
Okay.
I only have a prototype, but it's going to be amazing.
She just pulls it out of her Mary Poppins bag.
I do have I reorganized my office, which is the problem. See, this is what happens when ADHDers get organized. This is why it's like, why are you trying to
bring it in, Kate?
Yeah,
bring it
she's
in.
Raging right now.
You're literally finding everything right now.
No, I just meant
I found my piggy bank from 10th grade.
But I am creating stationery because that was the thing that for ADHDers, there's this thing like buying a new planner or buying the stickers or buying the Post-its. People are like, oh, I should stop buying this. I waste my money on planners. And I'm like, well, even if you buy a planner, do you use it for a day, for 2 days, for a week? Does that week, does it help you get organized? And they're like, yeah. And I'm like, well, how much did it cost? Right. So for me, I call it return on investment dopamine. Right.
Okay.
So stationery for ADHD, any neurodivergent. I know autistic people love some good stationery, stickers, paper, nice pen.
Yeah.
So that is like one of the only things that I would make. So check out for that coming next year, I think.
There we go. Should you just say autistic people?
That was a whole ad.
Well, I also live in the land of the best paper in the world. So
fair enough.
The fuck is this, Dunder Mifflin?
But okay.
No, wait a minute. There's a place in Indiana. No, is it Ohio? Dunder Mifflin? Where's Dunder Mifflin at? New Jersey?
Dunder Mifflin's Pennsylvania, fool.
Oh, I was close.
Ohio?
Whatever. It's made in America.
God bless.
I like how they're just showing things right now.
this is all my paper. Yes, I'm into paper.
Mouse.
So, but my point was,
Can
you ever see me selling anything? It's because I believe it actually helps ADHD people, and that is why. Because we will buy crap that doesn't work. We will buy subscriptions that we forget about.
You're right.
We will buy things that we never will use, and so like I'm picky about that. And if you've pointed out, I'm super ADHD trying to find all my stuff. So I'm like, if you can sell it to me, I'm sure a lot of ADHD.
Sell it to me.
Hey, this is a good time to maybe do the plug. You know, we were kind of picking on the people that we chose as well too. Toy Toys, wonderful place with a great bunch of stuff.
Toy Toys is great.
Yep, it's wonderful. The candle company that we're with, the Two Nerds Candle Company, they donate 10% of their funds to women in science.
Cat and Raven Soap Company, they're fantastic as well.
Queer individuals that sell the soap. It's a fantastic company. And so we tried our best to be picky as well. To actually pick people
Infinity.
Infinity, a little weird.
They're a little weird. They have great pens.
Great pens.
Weirdos.
But they
made fun of your sponsor on national television. You're fired.
Yeah. Well, you know, after we kind of like shit on them like a month ago, then people started clicking on it, and then they started sending us more free shit. So I don't know what's going on.
Hey, so fuck them.
Yeah. Every time we say fucking one of our sponsors, they're like, people start clicking on it.
Wow, I gotta see what they're all about.
Yeah.
But that quote I said to you is actually in the Wayne's World movie, because Wayne does get fired for humiliating his sponsor on national.
There you go. That was an autistic throwback.
These guys know nothing about Wayne's World, by the way. These are amateurs.
Look, I'm not gonna lie. I am an amateur, but you know what?
Hey.
Oh well.
It is what it is. So ads, big thing for folks that are neurodivergent. ADHD, autistic is that if you throw something in front of us, it becomes like obsessive. And with that obsessive comes the compulsion of I need this, I need this, I need this. And in this world where we know that in America, I'm not sure about Japan, but millennials account for 1/3 of the toys bought in America. 1/3 of millennials. So it's like, what the hell's going on with us? We all can't be autistic and ADHD. I would assume that something's going on with wanting certain things that make us feel good. Life is kind of tough these days. You know, colleges cost a shit ton. Hard to buy a house. Jobs are fucked up. And so people are looking for like happiness, gratitude, dopamine, joy. And so what are we doing? We're on social media. An ad gets posted. We're like, holy shit, this would bring me some happiness. I see nothing wrong with it because we're talking about toys. We're not talking about buying a fucking midlife crisis Lamborghini.
But I said, return on investment dopamine. This is a real thing. And that's what ADHDers need to figure out, because some of it doesn't last as long, right? You're going to buy it and you're going to be like, and then it just sits there. But then that's for ADHD and autistic people. It's like, well, which ones do last longer? Which ones give me the best outcome?
Yep. And so that's something to really think about is, what are you buying? For me, I reel in my spending specifically because I'm like, will this bring me happiness? You know, I remember specifically, I bought a watch for graduation once, and I was like, this fucking watch, I need this watch. Like, I obsessed over it. This was like $500 watch. And I probably wore it for like a year, and rarely, actually, I looked for it the other day. In fact, I think I lost it. I'm like, oh, that's nice.
Dude.
I have that like same story because I thought I needed a adult watch.
I thought you were going to say diaper. I swear to God, you were going to say diaper.
Isn't that a Hello Kitty one?
Yeah, actually, it's the same with my wallets. Like, if you ever see me, I like use coin purses as wallets, and people are like, "That is not a wallet." I'm like, "Well, it works for me." Like, and yes, Hello Kitty or all of that. But I thought I needed an adult watch, and then I realized I have a sensory ick to wearing watches.
There you go.
So that is why I never had a watch, because I don't like having things on my wrist, which was when I was surprised. Another sponsor plug, when my Apple Watch was not a sensory ick and actually tells me like nice things. Good job, Kay. I'm like, thank you, Apple.
Shout out to Apple and the child workers.
Oh, I just meant it was comfortable. It was the first comfortable watch I found.
Hey,
and
I'm a Samsung guy.
It called me Catherine. So I like that it's always like, well done, Catherine. And I feel
a little emoticon. Mine never says well done. Mine's always like, you fat piece of shit, get off of your desk.
Do more, Tubby. You're like, Jesus Christ.
Yeah, put the chocolate down. What? Are you watching me?
Oh, you know.
Mine literally only shames me like, you need to walk now. I'm like, well, now that you said it, I don't want to do it.
Yeah.
Well, I have the opposite. When my watch tells me what to do, I just do what the watch tells me to do. It's like, stand up. And I'm like, okay, I'll stand up.
Yeah, see, you're really impressionable. Like, I get irritated. I love when I'm in my office and I'll stand up and walk 2 feet over to the bathroom to take a crap. And it's like, good job on exercising. I was like, I'm really just taking a shit.
Did it.
You did it. You son
Aren't you proud, Dad?
You son of a...
I needed that gold star and validation, though. I told you already. I was that student. I want the well done. I want the attaboy.
You're going to be perfect when the robots take over.
Yeah.
Whatever you say, Master Robot. Yes.
Okay. Let's pivot. I'm sorry. We're doing a hard pivot because we got to keep it going.
All right. Next
Robot Japanese. Let's talk about gun racks. So
let's talk about gun racks.
Got a nice rack.
No.
No, not them. Just
shut the fuck up. Just shut the fuck up. Stop trying to explain. Shut up. All right. God damn it. You're a priest. You know better. All right, here we go. Or do you? So
the gun rack.
This scene is in the beginning of the movie, and it deals with Wayne's ex-girlfriend who just holds on a little too much, right? So she got him a gift, a gun rack. Perfect, because he really loves guns. He seems like a gun guy.
Yep.
Canadians really love their guns.
The show takes part in Aurora, Illinois, which is the
same
suburb.
thing. Same thing. It's the same thing, really. Canada, Aurora, suburban Illinois. It's the same thing, really. Let's be honest.
Hey, fuck Illinois. I'm from Michigan, so.
Yeah, fuck them, both of them. I'm from Minnesota, so.
Oh yeah, that's
Hey.
right.
I'm
Wow.
from California. I don't like guns.
Well, fuck them.
I get a sword now in Japan, right?
Oh,
You know,
true.
It's got a sword. All right.
Fucking manga sword.
It's a samurai sword. You're just like, what the fuck?
The three white kids from the Three Ninjas just follow behind her.
Hey, put that samurai sword down, lady.
They're like, well, is this movie made in the 90s? Why is there nothing but white people in Japan? Because you know they appropriate shit. Okay.
Okay.
The scene. The scene.
the scene.
Yes. What are some topics that we wanted to cover with this scene? What do we want to do? We want to talk about just obsession. What was it? What?
But it's also they're showing the diner where they hang out.
Yep.
Right.
It's their spot. It's their comfort place, right?
Mm-hmm.
Which is also why Stacy knows how to find them.
True. A good stalker knows where their people stay.
You're about to say pray, weren't you?
No.
Oh.
Place.
And I think it's also ahead of its time with how insulted he is by the gun rack. Like before all of the, that Wayne, as rock and roll as they are, they do not want guns. That was not, peace, love, rock and roll.
Yep. A little bit of
Just
drugs.
loving a gun rack. So.
Yep.
Just.
So you went dressed up as her for Halloween, or no? Who'd you go dressed up as?
I was Stacy for Halloween, and you better show that picture somewhere on a link somewhere because it was amazing.
I will.
And the other scene which we didn't show is she has her neck brace on because she fell through the roof, and that's when they're playing hockey on the street. So I had a neck brace. She hits the car, right? And then I'm in her bike shorts, and then my shirt said "Psycho Hose Beast," because that's what their nickname for Stacy was. And the best part about with this ADHD craftiness too, I made the gun rack, right? I made the shirt, but the best was she wears a Wayne necklace. If you don't know,
Wow.
Okay.
Very clear. It's a gold Wayne necklace.
It's not creepy.
So I went to the dollar store here, the Daiso. They have them in America now, the 100 yen shop. And I made a Wayne gold necklace. And then on the gun rack for the people who were just like so out of it that they would not know any reference to Wayne World, I did put "Happy Anniversary Wayne" on the gun rack.
See, that's a lot different than our dollar stores. Usually you get stabbed in there. So
yeah,
a lot different dollar stores in Japan.
There are Daisos in America now, which ruined my plan of buying new dollar store presents and like bringing them as like this fine plate.
And the trick people, like, yes, so expensive.
So expensive.
But I think
okay.
just that story shows creativity in ADHD, like that.
Oh yeah.
Made the costume, and it was really fun. And I think this scene was just funny. Like to me, that was just it's just funny. A gun rack? I don't even own a gun.
Yep. For real. And so this makes me think of gifts. And so I was thinking, when people buy me gifts, I'm like, anyone, I'm like,
you're the worst gift receiver ever. I'm just saying, like, I got you a gift for Christmas. I'm like, he's not even going to react to the shit, even though I know you would like it. I know you'd like it, but you don't show any emotion once you get the gift. You're like, oh, thanks. And then you like fucking go off to your room and then be an asshole. I don't know. But you are the worst gift receiver ever.
I don't know what it is with me. I go like super autistic. Like when I get something, I like just don't emote at all. Which is weird because I'm like so emotional.
Here's a gold
like,
brick. Oh, wow, thanks.
Yeah.
I like I'm an excellent gift giver, and I'm like
No.
the family gift
No, he's a
giver,
good
and
gift giver.
I
I'm
believe,
great
and
at gift giving.
I believe that you don't know what you want because you're just so focused on your like these are the things same with me. I'm like, I want this thing, and I will never want this other thing. Because my husband is the autistic one in the family, and he buys all these things, and I'm like, what is that? And then I always like end up stealing because it's like really useful and practical, right? I don't have that side of use.
Could be. I don't know.
So,
Interesting though is, he'll get gifts or other people give me gifts, or just literally the other day we were at a lunch thing and my supervisor gave us a gift. They gave us like all coffee mugs and everyone had like a good reaction, like, oh my God, thank you. I'm so appreciative. This is wonderful. And I'm like, it's a coffee mug. I don't even drink fucking coffee. Well, there's like a chocolate ball in it for like hot cocoa. I'm like, who the fuck's making hot cocoa?
It's making
Yeah. And so they give me a card, right? And it's like, I'm sure it's a lovely card. They're like, don't open the card. And I'm like, well, now all I want to do is fucking open the card.
what I use mugs for.
See? So it's interesting. Everyone's reaction is like, oh my God, so excited. I'm like, what the fuck is this?
No. And then, but then later on, you do appreciate the gift.
I do.
It's just in that moment, once you actually, I want like the reaction, but I don't get it. And if I do get it, I know it's not gonna be genuine.
Yeah.
It's not gonna be real.
No, you want me to have like a, well, you want me to have this full on climax. And I'm just like, I'm not giving it to you.
First of all, I didn't say all that, but you could actually be like, wow, thank you so much, man. I really appreciate it. You're just like, thanks.
Now this just sounds like couples therapy.
Yeah, well,
like, you ever seen a Muppet try to like get a gift? That's what he is. He's just like, well, thanks.
But I think it's also because with ADHD, there's only now and not now. So if you're getting a gift, if you're presented a gift, and like you said, you got a mug and you don't need that mug now, you're like, what the hell is this? I'm never going to need this.
Correct.
And then now appears and you're like, oh yeah, I have that mug.
I'm not going to lie. Sometimes I'm just like, fuck this gift.
Jesus.
I was using it as a teaching moment.
It could be like maybe it's a trauma thing. I don't know. Because my mom would give me stuff and she's like, now that I gave you stuff, now you're going to fucking work like 50,000 times for it. And if you don't, I'm going to probably trigger warning, beat the shit out of you. So some of that's in there as well.
Be it.
I'm not going to lie. There's some of that in there where I'm like, I'm not going to show a lot of emotion because I'm like, what are the strings attached?
What?
Well, not with you, but like
I grew up really poor at my mom's. Well, my mom spent all my money on education. Like, what's that good for? So,
how dare you?
How dare you? But it meant so. But she would make sure we all got gifts, and the gifts that my mom passed on to me. I lost my mom 3 years ago too. So this is
sorry to hear that.
But what she did was she was like that inner child thing that you were just talking about millennials buying toys. So the gifts my mom and I, the most random things, and they like, I have so many of them, and you don't have my background showing here, but they're all around me, the little, yeah. So it's just the fun stuff. Now I feel I need to get some.
I love her. Oh shit! I don't even know what that is, but it's nice.
The Hello Kitty ones. I know those. I know.
Bad Mario and Kurumi-chan.
Yeah, they used to have a Hello Kitty store here in Minnesota.
It's cool and purple, and I won this at the UFO catcher, the crane games.
Oh yeah.
And Pachaco and cinnamon rolls little thing said pretty and white. I was like, what? Being like, Logan. I was like, come on.
Just like me.
I was like being low. Pachaco's low-key racist. You just didn't know. Cinnamon roll, not surprised, but Pachaco, man, come on. I expected more from.
All right, we're gonna pivot and do a little bit of therapy, and then we'll get into the next scene.
Yes, sir.
But I think one thing that we didn't talk about the scene was Wayne sees the love of his life. So there's another girl in that scene.
I'm going to therapize a couple of different things in there. So as we're going throughout the scene.
Take a break while you're doing.
Sure.
Go to the bathroom.
Go ahead. Okay. It's the first time that our guest has left our show.
First time. First
First
guest
time.
leaves while you're talking.
She's like, you know what? Fuck you guys.
You know what? Fuck you and you're talking.
Hey, while they're not here, it's actually going quite well. With the
We're
chaos.
also very unhinged right now.
Yeah, I'm not gonna lie. There's that one part where I need to edit. Hopefully, I'll remember to edit. But there's a lot of. We'll see what happens. We're all going to be in prison, so. But
I'm not going to do well.
This would be the time of my life. You're gonna have
all the man pussy I can get.
You're gonna have, all the beautiful women you want. You just have to lower your standards on beautiful, lower your standards on women.
Longest yard.
Yep. Okay, so we get into the scene.
That was super fast.
That was really fast. You did not wash your hands.
I did.
You did not wash.
I did. In Japan, when you flush the toilet, the water comes out from the top. It's right there.
Would you have your pants half off when you were walking?
I have 2 older brothers. I had to pee really fast. Like, I am traumatized in this.
All right.
I am not that girl who's like in the bathroom. Like, I hate the girls' bathroom line because I'm like, what are you doing?
No, haram on you, haram on your life, haram.
No, man.
You guys are terrible. Why did I agree to this? I'm just getting bullied.
Hey, we didn't mean to do that. It's just, when you don't watch
it is what it is.
I've never seen someone pee that fast in my life.
I don't even piss that fast. Jeez.
Yeah.
It is a skill.
It was,
when I used to drink, when I was a drinker, when I was an alcoholic, this is a true story. I was called the phantom peer. That is my superpower.
Should just fall out.
Oh, there goes.
Me and my yes, I'm phantom peer.
Is this TLC? Don't go chasing waterfalls.
She found him and she pissed him.
I don't need the world to know this about me.
Okay, we're done. We're done. Therapy. On the pod.
Shut out. All right, let's get into it.
We're not. In that scene, you see them talking about multiple different things. You see one of the characters like, hey man, I'm super nervous. I don't know what to do. A lot of folks can relate to that. And like pivoting and socially awkward, they'll pivot to get out. A lot of autistic folks. There's a lot of social anxiety. There's a lot of overwhelmingness. And so we may like, oh, hey, Rebecca, what was that thing that you said? And then we can slowly fade into the darkness. It's definitely an anxious thing. It could be an insecurity thing, could be an overwhelmed thing. One interesting thing to point out, as we get into, what's that character's name with the blonde hair? Garth. So he starts to visualize and he sees this very attractive individual. And what we know in some of the screeners and assessments that we do for autism is do we daydream or fantasize, not a sexual fantasy, but just fantasize a relationship with this individual that we don't know? Do we build these immaculate lives and concepts with them? What would it look like? What would we talk about? Would we have children? What would be the jobs? And it happens with ADHD folks as well, but we see it a lot in autism where we just kind of like metastasize it. And then we have some fun with it in this little world that we created because we're very creative. ADHD folks, like you just talked about, very, very creative. So if you see someone that you're super attracted to physically, you might create some stuff. I know for me, when I'm attracted to someone mentally, I'm like, oh, this is interesting. I'll start thinking about the different lives and the stuff that we could talk about, enjoy, trips, whatever, like it happens. And then you see him probably fall down right in the chair. I feel like that's many of us where we get snapped back into reality. I feel like that's me when I'm going to
exercise. Just for ADHD folks, falling, tripping, and he's like, I fell, right?
Correct.
Like,
I was going to go more with like a male adaptive daydreaming, they call it. Most doctors will call it that for like autism or ADHD. And we'll be locked into something and we'll be like dissociated and we're completely in that world. And then we'll get snapped back into it. And I'll be like, holy shit, I've been staring at this person's feet for the last 20 minutes. I'm like, yep, they're going to think I'm a pervert. It's, yep, I'm done. It happens to me at the gym, dude. I'll be like locked because I do all my mental, emotional processing at the gym. I got the music on. Like I'll be gone. I'll be like crying, like gone into an emotion. And then I'll snap to him like, holy shit, how long have I been here for? And so I imagine myself as him falling back into reality. Like, what the fuck? What's happened? How did I get here? So I think it's really cognizant and representative. Someone that's ADHD, someone that's autistic, kind of daydreaming. It doesn't have to be bad daydreams. It doesn't have to be like out there. Just a thing that we do. So I wanted to tie that in to give some therapeutic background of like helping people with assessment, diagnostic, and to like normalize it. Like it's fine. I think a lot of people shun these dissociations or daydreaming, and they call it maladaptive because it's getting in the way. Is it getting in the way? Or are you processing emotions or things you want or goals? We don't need to pathologize and shit on everything that folks do that are ADHD or autistic.
It's me, a Spencer, and I'm here to talk about our longtime collaborator, Cure Hydration. Cure is a premium hydrating electrolyte drink mix made with organic coconut water and pink Himalayan salt with no sugar added. It contains 4 times the electrolytes of leading sports drinks. My go-to flavor is grapefruit, but if you're not into that, you can go and get their variety pack with 8 different flavors to sample. Go to curehydration.com or go to our link tree and use the code DSP20 to get 20% off your entire order today. Hey, this is your co-host Spencer, and I'm bringing you a special message from our collaborator, Silver Dollar Candles. They have great scents to go with great messages, just like Best Dad Ever, True Crime and Chill, and my personal favorite, When This Candle Is Lit, Give Me That. You can also make your own candle and message that fits you. So go use our link in our link tree to get your order placed with Silver Dollar Candles today.
And we do. Like,
well, for all the girls, the young women and girls who are more on the inattentive side, which is, that's what we got. Daydreamer, space cadet, lives in a world of her own. Those are the keywords for an inattentive ADHD report card. Would lose her head if it wasn't attached.
Yep.
Where the hyperactive presentations will be like talks in class. That's the big one.
Raise his hand too often.
Listen to instructions. So, but yes, for inattentive ADHD, there is more of this inner world versus the hyperactive one where there's more of the doing. And it's just internal and external. It's the same hyperactivity.
And you can do both, right? Because there's a combined presentation. And sometimes you could be hyperactive and like you just go into that world. And I have clients that go into it and then it is bad because it lasts like the entire day. So now we didn't do any of the daily functioning things that we need to do. So Garth, in that moment, when he falls down, I was like, I relate to that. I was like, yep, that's me. I forgot. I haven't seen any of these scenes in years and years and years. So to see that, I was like, oh, cool. That's me. So that was wonderful. And then, of course, there's the whole dating thing. So as we can therapize that is maybe not reading the cues in relationships and like still thinking that there's a thing. He's like, I broke up with you. We broke up weeks ago. Like, what the fuck are you doing? Get the hint, lady.
Are you mental? Get the net.
Yeah. And you can see like some folks that maybe are ADHD or on the spectrum may not get those hints if it wasn't direct, like a direct breakup. I've got clients legitimately right now that don't even know or told me they didn't even know that they were dating. They're like, it was like a year later and I was like, holy shit, they told me we were dating. I'm like, how'd you not know? Like you went to prom together. Like that's a date. Like you're getting coffee dates and like walks and stuff. I'm like, you're dating. They're like, no, we're not dating. I'm like, you were dating.
They never said out loud.
Well, we were just being friends and like hanging out. And I'm like, I mean, I don't know how many friends are holding hands. I mean,
come on.
Well, and executive functions, it's self-awareness is
Correct.
one of them. And that's the one that I love when you tell ADHD people or autistic people that they lack self, because they're like, I'm super aware. I'm super aware of everything I do. It's like, no, you're super aware when you're aware. And then the other times you're definitely unaware of a lot.
Correct. And I know me and Spence have been there, right? Oh, both of us being ADHD and autistic, right? We're aware when we're aware, and also we don't know what we don't know when we don't know it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I really believed I didn't have that thing that ADHDers have of closing cabinets and doors, right? And I'm like, I close the cabinets.
Oh, I never
and
do.
No, and then I walked into my kitchen one day, literally dishwasher open, all the cabinets were, I was like, oh.
Is that an
yeah.
ADHD thing? Because my father literally fucking
It's
gets pissed at me.
actually, it's sort of an executive function and working memory thing. So it's this: you open said thing, and then in your executive function brain, it's lazy and it doesn't want to do that again. Right. Yeah. So you believe you're like, oh, I'm going to put something back in there, or I need to get something back out from there. And then you leave it open. But then the distractibility comes in and you never go back to close the cabinet. But the idea of why we do this is really your brain is like, I don't want to have to open it again if I need to go in there again.
Bingo.
And that's why it gets left open. But then you don't actually go back.
How dare you? Shut up. Hey, Dad, so when you're watching this, fuck you.
That's why. That's what I do. So those are sort of what I teach in my class. That's
I have ADHD, Dad.
But that was, I really saw those and I was like, I don't do, that's not true. That's not true. Because the other one's about like doesn't read the room. Sure. Yeah, I'll give you that. Maybe.
Yeah. Cabinet
Gets
opening.
a little loud or excited sometimes. Like,
What?
These are the words that describe self-awareness in Russell Barkley's book when he's talking about ways self-awareness appears in neurodivergent people. So you'll be like, yeah, I definitely do that. But it's like, you might notice something about your autistic friend that he doesn't notice. And then you'll be like, you always do this. And you're like, what?
Yeah. Maybe that's why
it's all really black and white. Like everyone, my clients are always like, can't we find this like middle? I'm like, no, we don't really have a middle ground.
So Kate, what you're saying is there's blacks over here and then there's whites over here. That's what you're saying?
We have to separate the two.
I don't know if I'm cool with this.
I don't know. I think you might be a little backwards thinking, maybe.
Yep, it feels old school, Kate.
I'm a photographer. I'm talking more about the grayscale.
You're like, get back there. Jesus. Jeez, Kate. Wow.
All or nothing. It's all or nothing.
50,000 followers, blue thing. Tell them to get back there. At least half of them.
And how I'll pivot for you. And I said also in that scene, the ordering of food. They order their order. And the waitress says, don't you get tired of ordering the same thing? And all of them automatically say, no. And I feel for any neurodivergent person, because even sometimes I feel bad for getting the same, not at like restaurants, but like I live in Japan. There's so much food. There's so much food. Like it is unbelievable. But then it's it's so many choices. It's too overwhelming. Right? I would love to go and try, but it's like eating for me, that choice particularly is so, and for a lot of us, it's so hard to make that decision because you have to do it so many times throughout the day. And like in Japan, if you have 5 million choices of what to eat, I will end up eating in the same places. And I'm like, I almost like feel bad about it because I feel I should try new ones, but it's like, I know it's safe. I know the food will be good. I know I like it.
Yep. See, this is where you get dangerous with Chipotle. It's safe, but 1 out of 10 times you're gonna shit your pants.
It's like White Castle.
We don't have Chipotle in Japan. We have a Australian kind of version.
Are you saying you don't like Mexicans over there? That's sad.
My God.
We actually, excuse me, sir, did you know that the Peruvians and Brazilians are the largest?
I didn't hear Mexicans.
No, but I'm saying that Spanish is
I
said, but Spanish speakers and Latin is actually
in
one
Japan?
of the largest. Yeah.
Didn't know that.
Brazilian and Peruvian, and they have
Portuguese.
like second citizen stats. So,
Interesting.
Portuguese and Spanish, because the Peruvians are there too. So the Spanish is there.
Well,
Interesting.
Viva la Mexico. So
They have a Taco Bell now.
Hey, so real quick, stop. You're right. A lot of folks like to go to the same foods over and over and over. So quickly, what are the same foods that y'all like to eat? Is it the same place over and over, Kate, or is it just like the same food that's like your go-to? Because I know a lot of people like, you know, chicken tenders, right? Fries, burgers, maybe it's pizza all the time, right? What's yours?
It's both, because you know, like ADHDers we have our flow and our like more executive function states. So when like we're really on, we're on. So those all go to like my cafes that I like because of the atmosphere and to do body doubling, and I know it's comfortable.
Okay.
Right.
Yep.
Or like if I really can't just I'm basic. I'm a basic ass bitch. I like bread. Okay, I'm American. I like bread.
I fucking love bread.
Yeah, and so if I am
might be
struggling
Arab.
to eat, if I'm struggling to eat because my anxiety, my hyperactivity does affect my eating, right? Like
Yep.
especially that it affects your stomach, and it's like I'm not an ADHD who forgets to eat. It's just like it's so much executive function. It's so much choice. It's so much, and like for me, I will just if I'm anxious, if I'm like that hyperactivity,
Yep.
like bread is my safe food, right? So there's certain bakeries, and I will say Japanese Subway is surprisingly delicious.
Okay.
But I do feel basic when I go to Subway. I'm like, I'm gonna go Subway
fine.
again. Like,
It's
and
fine.
you're like in Japan, like the land of the best food, and then I'm here at Subway, and I'm like, man,
It's fine. So Spence,
I know
we'll do a little pivot. Spence, what are your go-tos when you go to restaurants?
man, usually burger of some kind. Yeah, I mean, it all depends on the restaurant, right? Like, if I get something, like, say, go to like Chipotle or something like that, I usually get the same thing. I don't really try to venture out and try other things on my burrito. Like, fuck that.
who does that? What kind of freaks do that?
Weirdos. But I do say that I've been able to try different foods from when I, was a kid. I was very picky when I was a kid. And so now I've been able to actually try new things and actually like them. And I've been able to like cook things and all that to where where I'm getting pretty good at it. And so it's like when I was a kid, I would never eat like scallops or anything like that. You know what I'm saying? But now I cook them all the time. And yeah, I mean,
So
stuff like that. Yeah, growing. And then I'm also
growing.
trying to get like Dom to eat more stuff to get her to try things, because it's like, I want her to venture out a little bit, not push her to do like too much, but a little bit.
I think trying things versus safe foods, though, I would put in different like categories as well, because that's not. Because trying, that can definitely be a sign, like picky eating. And like in Japan, especially, part of why I'm safe is because there's some weird ass food here. I'm not gonna lie, right? There's some weird textures, and you know that it's the texture. It's not necessarily the taste of the food.
It's a texture.
It's like it's textures, and they eat a lot of sea creatures that I would like that are not my favorite kinds. You mentioned the scallops, but like you guys know what uni is, right? Sea urchin. Right? Have you ever seen it?
I've seen it. I would never try that shit, but yeah.
Okay.
I've seen it.
Uni is a delicacy in Japan. It's like people love it. It's up there as one of the best. But like, I want you to look at a picture of what uni is, because you can literally see the grains in it, right? It is a granular food, which for so many neurodivergents, grainy food, an old non-ripe tomato, right? That apple, that like for me, that grainy texture is an immediate no.
Okay.
And so I've tried it many times, and I've told and it's a delicacy, and everyone's so surprised I don't like it. I'm like, look, I could get you some wet sand from the ocean, and it would taste, and because that's what it's just. You can see the grains. This is what I'm saying. So I think sometimes the safe choice is because of that surprise. I feel that when you go to a new country or something, or people who are travelers, especially neurodivergent travelers, that might be a bit scary because of the texture, because of the language, because of this, which is also why having safe options
are good.
It's good, but yes,
So
I
this
will
is
try things,
this is usually what I
but
do
I
to
will
take a
also be like, ew.
yeah. So to take away the choice options for me, the anxiety, I usually always recommend, and Spence, I know you've seen me do this. I'll say, hey, what do people usually get here? And so it's like, God damn it, man, just pick something. I'm like, I don't know what the fuck to pick. There's too many options. And then they tell me, and then I go with it. And it is what it is. Like I'll, if it sucks, it sucks. But I usually want to get what most people get at the place. And also usually it's because it's fresher, because they're making more of that. It's usually what I do. I have my safe options as well. That are my go-tos. I love nachos, love chicken wings. Those are my go-to at most places. Nachos, chicken wings. It's hard to fuck those up. In saying that, I've seen people fuck it up. I'm like, this is literally just beans. If I wanted you to put your beans on me, I'd tell you.
I'm also gonna send you a nachos picture of the saddest nachos you've ever seen in Japan. Like they were you will have to see the picture to believe it, but it's like saddest nachos. But I agree. And nachos for neurodivergent people, because all I say this protein. Well, I will do my teaching here. For ADHD folks, what you need most, if you can't eat, you need protein. It's brain food. 1, 2, we need carbs, okay? Carbs are also energy fuel. It takes a lot of energy for you to constantly overthink as much as you do. You need the protein for the dopamine building and your prefrontal cortex. You need the carbs. You need iron, and you need omega-3s. So if you just can put those 3 things into a meal, this will simplify it. And nachos, that is an easy thing to do. Get some avocado, get some beans, get some cheese on there, get the chips. So like, it's actually, I agree with you, but that's like,
love it.
It's a meal. It is a solid meal choice
Love
where you
meat
get
and
all of
cheese.
that, but doesn't feel like a high commitment meal. Because if it was all separated out, like, and it was a plate, you
I
would
like
feel
chips.
like,
I like chips. I like the crunchiness, stuff like that. All right. So we've been going for a minute, and I know we got one more scene, but I'm not sure if we've got a ton of time to do that scene.
Yeah.
So maybe I kind of just give a description of what it is, and then we can pivot and get out. Because the longer the pods go, it's just really hard for people to stay in for the whole pod.
oh, you mean we have trouble focusing for long periods of time?
Yeah.
It's an odd thing.
And we've had a really good long conversation, which is awesome. And so when we pick too many scenes, it's just hard to get to them all. So as we wrap up here, this scene is right there. They're in the basement. Yeah, they're in the. It's in the ending.
Scene.
Yeah,
I should probably describe it. You haven't seen the movie enough.
Hey, so this, white women taking over the podcast. Fuck it.
This is your show now.
Wayne's World. It's just like I literally know this movie by heart, and it's the ending scene, and the producer guy, Frankie Sharp of Sharp Records. That's the guy. They intercept his limo with Cassandra's performance, and Wayne's World puts a show back on the air. And then Rob Lowe comes in at the end, and Frankie Sharp shows up in this scene. But it's funny because he's like, "I like you, but we're not going to sign you," which I was always like, why would he show up then? And then she slaps Wayne, and then Rob Lowe gets the girl, and then there's a fire, and it's all tragic ending. It's a tragic ending.
Then there's a fire. You went from like the most descriptive first half, and then just said there's a fire, and then they die.
She got tired. She got tired.
Wayne carries out Garth, and they're all coming from a fire, and he goes, "Why, God? Why?" Which is also a classic part of that scene. Yep. Because Wayne is carrying Garth too, because he's the Dom.
And so then they do the we doing it together.
Well, then they show up and they're like, as if we'd end the movie like that. And then let's all do it. You got to do it too. Ready?
You're just waving your hands. You're not even making the noise you have.
I know he can't. He's like, cringe. But and they show an alternative ending, and the next ending is the Scooby-Doo ending.
Correct.
Which I think for most younger people they wouldn't get. I didn't know enough. I think that's more Gen X.
Scooby-Dooby-Doo.
Yeah. So I thought it was really good to use this one in therapy. Because this is the one I always think of is like you get these redos or these replays. Most of my clients, they're overthinking things mostly throughout the day, but specifically at nighttime. You're like, oh, I'm going to go to bed. And then you lay there and you're like, fuck, I messed everything up and everyone hates me. And so I was recently found myself asking a client, that people go through a lot of stuff. We know this, Kate, Spence, we everyone's going through something. Some folks are going through way more than others. And this person was telling me about their panic attacks, their anxiety, the weight, the alcohol that they're starting to use now, the other substances. I'm like, this is a lot. And they're telling me about this, and this, and this. I'm like, holy shit, you're right. This is a lot. And have you imagine any of these be positive? And everyone's telling you, stop thinking about it. Everything will be fine. I'm like, you know what? I'm not going to go with that. I'm going to tell you it's okay if you think about all these negative things, but I want you to start building out some positive ones. So if option A doesn't work out, and I can't say what any of these things are because it'd be too descriptive, but what is plan B? What is plan C? What is plan D? What is plan 1B, 1A? And they're like, what are you talking about? I said, I want you to build out some other opportunities. I want you to do like this fan fiction of your story. I want you to end up, this is awesome, and you're at the biggest, brightest venture of you are in your life. Then the other plan, then the other plan, then the other plan that you told me. What are these positive outcomes? I'm not telling you to think positive. I'm telling you, I want you to think more in depth and maybe journal this out because you're too much in your fucking brain. I said, statistically, you're 30%, 40% more likely to achieve something if you write it down. You being in the thing that you're in, I need you to start journaling and writing things down. Then I'm going to have you do some yoga before bed. So I want you to write all this stuff down. You said you're very spiritual. We're going to do our faith and pray, and then we're going to do our yoga, and then we're going to hop in bed and go to sleep. And we're going to build this habit, and we're going to build this habit and build this habit. And if shit hits the fan with what you just told me, we'll be prepared. Your partner and everyone's saying, don't think about it. I'm telling you now, maybe we think about it, but in a couple different avenues. And the student was like, holy shit, thank you for saying this. Because I'm drinking and smoking to not think about it. And I was like, no, homie, I need you to think about it, but in different ways. Okay, and now I'm done.
I have so much to tell you because this is like a big part. There's so many words for this. Like I said, putting the words to this. One, rumination, right? Going through your day, rethinking the same anxiety thought. Second, it's called ANTS, automatic negative thinking. This is a thing that ADHDers struggle with a lot, right? Then there's the one that we can get all controversial, rejection sensitivity dysphoria, because it's like, I don't believe the dysphoria part. I don't think it's actually a trait of ADHD and autism. I think rejection sensitivity definitely exists. And I think that comes from us, yes, being traumatized as youth for being neurodivergent. So it's really hard with that, but RSD, whatever we want to say, that we tend to stick to the negative over the positive. And because of our executive function, our working memory, our inability to really reflect backwards and look forwards, we actually are not that great at remembering our successes.
True.
Another great creator, Jesse Anderson. I always get his name lost because he wrote this Extra Focus book. He has the best tweet ever, and he said, ADHD is being told you're doing it wrong, even though your way also works. Right? So
told that many times.
And I feel everybody can agree, like for an autistic and ADHD person, it's true because our way works, but it's not the right way. You're not doing it the right way. And that's what leads to this traumatic idea that we fucked up. We talked too much. We didn't listen, and he calls it success amnesia too, right? That we tend to not remember our successes, but we will definitely remember all the times we messed up. Right. And as a recovering perfectionist who sought out validation through education and schooling, because that was the only place where people said, you're doing good, you're doing well, right? Like I cried at getting a B- in grad school on a paper. Okay. I cried about and everybody was like, what's wrong? I'm like, I got a B-. And they're like, why are you crying? I'm like, I just, like, why don't you understand? And they're like, in the class? I'm like, no, but right. So for a lot of perfectionists like that, they have that feeling, right? And so we always assume that it's going to go wrong. It's going to be the worst. And so I agree of reframing it, but it's also, we have to acknowledge the success amnesia, the rejection sensitivity. And as a recovering perfectionist, what I did to combat this, not necessarily alternative endings, is now I've just been like, how many times did you actually not pass the class? How many times did you actually not do what you were supposed, like, where in this history are those failures that you are so scared of? Right? And they're, yeah, I got a B- on one paper in grad school. Like, that's like one of my most tragic failures of school.
Yeah, cognitive reframing. It's a wonderful thing. The endings I was speaking of was specifically geared towards this person's therapy, where it's towards grief. So there is no reframing that. If this happens, holy shit. Spence, you know, with me, with mom passing, it's like she can't see all the things that I'm doing. Then possibly Pops, if he passes, right, they won't be able to get to see the successes. That's why these next couple days leading into next week and me getting this job or not is fucking huge. Because he's like, I'm going to fucking have a stroke if you get it, and happiness. And, you know, it's sad when you think about, you know, when you see your parents struggling. And so I was thinking, what are these other things that you can think about and plan and enjoy and be mindful while acknowledging the pain, while validating, while reframing a few different things? Because like you said, they're like, I ain't going to be able to make it. I'm like, no, you're going to make it, kid. You're going to make it. Therapy is a wonderful, fun, wonderful thing. I can tell you definitely have had some reframing and some therapy, because you don't have, people don't have these terminologies if they haven't. Also, you're an educator and researcher, so you've got a lot of the background knowledge.
Well, I try to, hey, it's because I know that pain, and I'm great at creating catastrophes in my head. And
okay,
like, and part of, this is actually important. Part of a lot of
we'll
late diagnosed women is general anxiety disorder. Okay.
Yeah.
This is another word for automatic negative thinking, I think. Like, so a lot of this anxiety, like when my husband is late, I will always ask this. When my husband's late, I'll ask my clients, when your husband's late, what do you think? They're like, oh, he's dead or in jail. Like, me too. Like, that's a first thought. He's late because he's dead. And everyone's like, that's not normal. And I'm like, no, he probably missed the train or this, but it's like, that's what general anxiety is, though. It's imagining this worst case scenario to be more likely than this, he missed a train. Or like you get an email from a boss and it just says, hey, we got to talk. And everyone's like, what is that? Yeah. And you're like, oh my God. And that's the rejection sensitivity dysphoria. Because when you get that every email, everyone's like, oh my God, I'm getting fired, something terrible.
Oh, I'm fucked.
Like, what about they just want to say you're doing a good job?
Yep. True. That happens.
And that is where the anxiety part, especially for a lot of people who have both, because I think the comorbidity of anxiety is like over 50%, right?
Okay.
And for a lot of late diagnosed, that was noticed first. That's my story. The anxiety was noticed first because, you know, it makes you anxious being undiagnosed with ADHD. Always waiting for that other shoe to drop. Always trying to struggle to stay on top. So,
correct. Well point.
I agree. And I think the problem is the reframing also comes in with the, like you said, toxic positivity, which pisses ADHDers off. Like my favorite fight of the ADHD world is, it's my superpower. It's a disability. Like, can we stop with this fighting? Like, because it's it is a disability, but if that person wants to call it a superpower, like who cares?
We've talked about it on the podcast.
That's not your choice. And for me, my ADHD is my brain. I am who I am, and ADHD controls everything I do in my life. And I think that's the real you were talking about where I said this, that it's like, they're like, why do you want to label yourself? Or everybody needs a label these days. And I'm like, this is not a label. It's my literal thought process. It's the entire thing in my brain. It's everything I do. Everything I've created, everything I've ever done came down to being ADHD. So I don't love it or hate it. I just love myself as much as I can.
All right, Kate, real quick. So as we get ready to head out, and now you just did the wonderful plug for that, we need to know, where do we find you, and then we can get out for today, because we got a lot of pod now that I have to edit. So what would be your tags or business things, or what's your stuff so people can find you, and then we'll end for today.
at Learning Compass on Instagram and most
Okay.
other, and that's Find Your Path, because it's true, we all got a different path, and a lot of neurodivergent people just need to be pointed in a direction. My website is also linked on there. Everything would be, but Kate Kamoshita, which is my name. And if you can't do that, try to Google ADHD Tokyo Kate, and I'm sure that there's not that many of me.
Okay.
So,
I'll have it all linked, so it'll be in every post, YouTube, Spotify. It'll literally be everywhere. But I just wanted you to make sure that those are
yeah,
the three
so
things.
at Learning Compass, KateKamoshita.com, and the other one is my Thinkific site, which is where all my classes are.
Okay.
And that's my own virtual classroom. And I've
Awesome.
had 400 signups over the
Okay.
past 2 years that it existed.
All right.
Right. Awesome. Well, thank you, Kate, for coming on to the show. We actually had a blast. Not even kidding. Had a blast.
Let's talk some shit.
Talk a lot of shit.
Well, I hope both of you go watch Wayne's World.
I was thinking that shit like 5 times.
No, he knows it. I just, amnesia.
I just don't know all of it off the top of my head. Damn. You're not a savant. All right.
One of the best lines in that is he goes, "We're gonna go down to the studio, like for you guys," and I'm like, "Ooh, that's where the magic happens." And Rob Lowe goes, "Do you work on TV?" She's like, "No, but I watch a lot of it." And he goes, "Of course you do. You're creative."
Okay.
On that note, I'm Spencer. That's Nas. This is the Different Spectrums podcast.
All right, everyone. Much
Thank
love,
you.
and take care of yourselves.
Or don't.
That's up to you and Jesus. Bye.